Well, it has been a while. Welcome to Neo Racing League Division Alpha Season 5 now. The seventh race of the season, the conclusion of the first half of the season, which is the Bahrain Grand Prix. And yeah, it's your commentator Marchmeister once again for the first time since Season 3. We'll follow the drivers, talk about the drivers, and basically just follow the action of what's going on this track over the course of this about hour and a half. So yeah, pretty much. I hope I have enough material to talk about during that time. Hopefully, drivers will help me with that one, as well as the things that I remember from this race and the general stats and whatnot. But yeah. Seventh race of the season in this Neo Racing League Division Alpha competition. The fifth incarnation, I guess. If not the incarnation. Just say fifth season. Yeah, fifth season of this prestigious, not so prestigious competition here. Which, yeah. It's been a while. For certainly, especially for those who haven't watched us on Switch or on YouTube. Obviously, we are now streaming on YouTube, unfortunately. Our commentator Jamie Jackson isn't available today due to having a job. So, yeah, there you have it. Which we absolutely understand, and yeah, we wish him a very good evening. Getting through the job that he's doing right now. So we have 12 drivers on the grid today, which means we have a full quali set. But we are not gonna do Q1 due to not having enough drivers to do that Q1 session. So therefore, drivers pretty much have been ordered to select their setups for this race and to retire from the qualifying one segment. So yeah. What's there to point about regarding the drivers? So there are a couple of drivers missing for sure. One of them is Shootfizz, who hasn't been there since, if I'm not mistaken, since Singapore. If he watches, obviously, the race, he can correct me on that one. I should pull up the chat somewhere in front of me before we commence. So yeah, Shootfizz is not here, who is the previous season champion. Currently sitting in 10th place with, I believe, 18 points to his tally. Drawing with Funny Waveband in McLaren, who is sitting in 11th. The reason Shootfizz is ahead of him is because Shootfizz had a better finishing position than Funny Waveband. Shootfizz had a podium in Singapore, and Funny Waveband had the best race finish of, I believe, 7th place, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah. Generic Leon had reported of incident issues. No, it's actually Formula Leon, but it's also generic Leon, so... yeah, I think he should be okay, but to join back and take part in Q2, as far as I know, as far as I'm aware, but yeah. Not the first time Formula Million had connection issues during the season, so yeah. But speaking of him, current championship leader is obviously Speed Queen, but as we all know from if you watch the race highlights on YouTube, which was the Canadian Grand Prix, we have been there's been a notification about Speed Queen, unfortunately departing Neo Racing League for Season 5 due to in real life commitments. Therefore, pretty much leaving this Drivers' Championship leadership vacant. And currently the two drivers who are in that core closest to Speed Queen, who sits on 75 points, is generic Leon, or Formula Leon, I should say, who is currently on 63 points. And there's also Alex Garrigoat, who initially was in the Haas for the first 5 races of the season, but then chose to switch to the bronzing horse, that is Ferrari. Italian driver switching to Ferrari, no-brainer there. But yeah, did his first race in Ferrari last week in Zandvoort. Unfortunately, he had crashed at the final corner where the pit wall was in the reverse Zandvoort circuit layout, and therefore couldn't be able to finish the race, allowing Leon to get ahead of him in the championship. But he is 1 point behind him in 3rd place at the moment. So there is still chance for him to recover the lost position in the championship. So yeah, we're just waiting for other drivers to complete the setup selection, strategy selection, I assume. Although there is no strategy in qualifying you could set, just the race strategy, but you know, each to their own. But yeah, about the rest of the championship at the moment, I will put the information out there as soon as I get the data in front of me. But there you go. 12 drivers have selected their setups, and we're going to proceed to Q1 now in just a couple of seconds. Let me just want to make sure if Switch notification has been popped up in this server, and yes, it has. So there you go. We're live and in the living color right now on our Twitch channel for the first time in about a year, I would say. I think it was 20th. No, it wasn't 20th of May. It was something else. Wait. I think it was last year's sometime during the spring, April or May. It could have been. Oh no, wait. It's season 3, so it's second half of the year. Potentially October it could have been, to be honest. So I wouldn't be surprised. Right. Anyway, Q2 now is underway, and we have a reserve driver today, Hamflap Kelly. Good old Hamflap Kelly, Mr. DNF himself, currently on his outlap. So he is in the V-Carb, as they say, which I hate that name. I'll just say RB instead. It's referred as RB in the championship standings. So there you go. He is in the RB today in place of Shoot Fizz today. So we'll see how the Season 4 Constructors Champion will do around this track, which I believe is one of his favorites, if I'm not mistaken. But you know, on his day, Kelly can deliver a strong result, of course. So we'll see how he does in this qualifying 2 session. But currently ahead of him is the Red Bull of Sluskan, who is just ahead of him. The Swedish driver who joined us in the last week's race in Zandvoort and had a decent showing, 6th place. 6th place finish for the Swedish driver in the Red Bull. So yeah, it's a good start so far in his Neo Racing League career for Mr. Sluskan. Yeah, good old Swedish name to pronounce, considering I'm living in Sweden right now, and yeah, Swedish language is quite a bit difficult one to learn for someone like me, Latvian, who has quite a sharp language. But anyways, let's watch the Red Bull in action around this track. Let's go on his on board actually to witness that as he goes through the first corner. Just about makes it through on the apex on the first corner. Now just has to navigate through the second and the third corner. Opens the DRS to head to the very interesting turn 4 exit there, which I have been notified by several drivers that there is a bug on that specific exit curb, which I believe in Creator Series they also shared the clip, or it was Meraki who shared the clip of one of the drivers taking that curb and just being basically power driven into an invisible bump, which made him call full stop. But yeah, in terms of that, drivers have been, you know, debriefed about that, and they have been advised to take caution through that corner, specifically the exit, and not try to avoid go onto a full curb, like, or take the whole curb, whole exit curb, and exiting the corner. So there's that. But yeah, we should have spoken about Sluiskarn's lap, but yeah, there you go. So first lap time on the board for the Red Bull will be 1:30.152, which will follow up by Hampop Kelly, Passive Zeus, and Alfred, who's just yeah, just being Alfred. 27.7 on his first flying lap. Already showcasing his prowess in the qualifying sessions. Most poles so far this season from Alfred, 4 to his name on the course, to potentially could even get 5th if somebody can challenge him. We saw Formula Leon take a second placed spot with 28.8, and with J Hydronics in B3, who had a great Dutch Grand Prix last week, finishing in second place for the second consecutive race in a row. First in Canada for race 5, and then in Zandvoort for race 6. So yeah, J Hydronics is on a bit of a hot form right now, as we speak. Healer got the 30.6 on his first attempt. So yeah. Currently on the flying lap are 3 drivers, I believe, and one of them just crossed the finish line. It was Funny Waveband with 1:29.095 in the Chrome McLaren. Definitely looking to get a good result out there as well for himself and the team, who are currently tied with Mercedes for the 8th position in the Teams Championship. The reason being, or Mercedes of being ahead of McLaren, should finish this podium in Singapore, and McLaren have yet to score one this season. Alex Carrigaud crosses the line at 28.594 for the Italian in the Ferrari. How fitting. And I believe Von Smokos was also on the flying lap, but invalidated and now spun before the second to last corner, which I believe is turn 13. I might be wrong, but you can correct me in the chat if you can. Let me just pull that actually. We do have Sluiskarns and Formula Leon in the chat, so thanks guys for chiming in. Extreme Enigma, let's watch him for the rest of his lap. First time since Singapore, I believe, he's in the lobby. Although I did originally expect him to be for the next race, but apparently he was able to make it to this one, so kudos to that. Fair enough. But yeah, Extreme Enigma currently sitting on 9 points, drawn with the Healer for the 13th position. The reason being, Healer had a 4th place finish last time out in Zandvoort, whilst Enigma had the 5th place finish in Suzuka, with additional 10th place in Singapore to tie with Healer in the for the 13th place. But yeah, Extreme Enigma across the line, 130.449 for the Italian in the Alpine. And yeah, let's see, Plon Smokos. Alfred just retired from the session, happy with his lap, absolutely understandable. But yeah, let's watch the Mexican driver whose name I butchered in the graphic last time round. I'm not gonna. I confused him with a certain Latin American country, his surname, but you know, we fixed that. That's fine. But yeah, watching his lap and just got a bit too wide out of the second to last corner. Therefore, another invalidated attempt from the Aston Martin driver as he loses the control on the final corner and will head to the pits to refuel and potentially switch to new rubber. Gary Gator on the lap. Skipped Zandvoort last week. Now back in Bahrain, as he now going through the turn 4. Does seem to take two wheels on the curb, which is okay so far. But yeah, Gary seems to be on the purple sector, purple first sector for the V. I'm not saying V curb. Forget it. For the RB driver, you need to get used to this. But yeah. Gary Gator in the RB currently sitting in 5th place in the Drivers' Championship with 34 points. Having ART Optic ahead of him, I believe. No, wait, it's 6th place actually. Never mind, my mistake. Gary Gator's in 6th because... is he in 6th place? I'm now I'm getting confused now. But anyway, Gary Gator currently on the lap, just about to finish. What will the Irish driver in the RB do for his first flying attempt? First time attempt, that is. 28.1, so it's just about 4/10 shy. Just about 5. Half a second shy of Alfred's lap time. So there's that. But yeah, Q2, which means we have 11th and 12th place being eliminated from the session. I believe Gary Gator was in the way of the healer, who's on the push lap right now, trying to improve on his 30.6. Let's see how he does through turn 5 and 6. Improves by nearly 4/10 of a second there. The Danish driver in the Sauber. Both drivers actually, the Sauber are Danish, so there's that. They have a very funny way to pronounce chocolate in the Danish language, but I'm not going to try and pronunciate, as I'm not Danish and I can't speak Danish. But anyway, back to the race, back to the qualifying. Healer currently going through the end of the second sector, just about to approach the second to last corner. Improves by just about 7.5 through the second sector. So currently he would be ahead of Extreme Enigma, and if he manages to improve on the last sector, I think he would be at least ahead of Kelly, but we'll see. Healer across the line actually doesn't improve. He does jump ahead of Extreme Enigma, but just about 500 shy of Hempel Kelly's current lap time, which is 29.6, who is currently on his outlap for his another attempt. Right, on the push lap, is anybody push lap? Leon has not improved, so Scott's in the pits. And Gary Gator's allegedly pushing. We'll see once what his sector 1 lap time is going to be. Throughout the this lap, misses out by 1/10 of a second and loses control of his car at the exit of turn 5, which means this attempt will not be in success. Which means we'll switch to Blown Smokers now to see if he can manage to get a time lap on the board. managed to get his first points of the season in the Xandor despite being a lap down, but, you know, persistence pays off for most of the time. As Extreme Enigma got disqualified for blocking the pit lane. Well then, we haven't seen what happened. I assume he was letting somebody through, and it just so happened there was a car behind him, and yeah, game treated as blocking the pit lane, and he got disqualified. So Extreme Enigma is out of Q2 pretty much, which means we have one driver to pretty much watch and decide who is going to get knocked out in the Q2 session. Smokos, so far, seems to be handling the track just well. Seems to be learning from his mistakes. Takes it slow. Comes across the line. I think he just ran out of battery there, and that's going to be 31.946 for the Mexican. Considering he has very low fuel in the car, I assume this is his final lap of this session. So yeah, we had a couple of drivers return from session early. That being, excuse me, Gary Gator, Fanny Waveband, and Sluskan, who are 2nd, 5th, and 7th respectively. So there's that. Yeah. We just want to see if somebody else is pushing just now. I mean, Hydronics is pushing as so much. That's so far as I know. There you go. Let's watch the J Hydronics lap. He returned 4. Bit of a slide on the exit there, but manages to keep it within track limits. Improves by about a 10th through the first sector. So far so good for the American in the Ferrari. As he's now navigating through this difficult section, now the difficult part of the track, the most trickiest corner to get Naya, and he actually gets it nicely done. That sharp left-hander, which is very easy to walk up on or, you know, go wide there. And yeah, Hydronics is pushing certainly. It did seem to have a bit of a slide there at the exit of, I assume, turn 9 or turn 10. But he seems to be improved by 2.5 tenths, quarter of a second. At this rate, could jump Formula Leon if he maintains it like that. Maybe if he can find a mega 3rd sector, got direction on the steering at the exit of the final corner, which will put him ahead of Formula Leon by 15 thousandths of a second in P4. Who else is about to finish? Hamflap Kelly invalidated, but he will get through to Q3. Passive Zeus is improving, but Formula Leon is ahead of him, so we'll watch Formula Leon's lap time, which will be 29.4, so he messed up at some point during that lap, therefore not improving at all. Passive Zeus, who struggled to get out of Q2 in his first 2 appearances in this league, is currently in his 8th position, improving through the 2nd sector, and could potentially jump Sluskarn for the 7th place at this rate. Maybe even Funny Waveband if he manages to find extra time through that sector. And he does jump ahead of Sluskarn, misses out to Funny Waveband by 35 thousandths of a second, or 3.5 hundredths. So there you go. Out of the Q2 session then, we have the Mexican in the Aston Martin, Blown Smokos, and the Extreme Enigma, who got unfortunately disqualified from the session due to game being Game of the Year contender worthy, and having him disqualified for letting people through when being on the pit entry, but having a car behind him. But there you go, there's your order for Q2. Alfred comfortably ahead of Gary Gator, Alex Carrigo in 3rd with J Hydronics, and Formula Leon, Funny Waveband, Passive Zeus, Luskarn, Hamflap Kelly, and the Healer 5, concluding the top 10. But yeah, there you go, blocking the pit lane, disqualification for Extreme Enigma. There, so don't blame him for that. If he was genuinely letting someone through, I don't blame him. I got that at least 2 times during my, if you want to so-called career in league racing. So it is what it is. It just happens. Sluiskern does gets a sub 29, but he'll try. Go balls alt, mate. You can certainly try. But there you go, Q3 underway now. To decide who's going to be on the pole position for this historic Grand Prix to a degree. Has been there for 20 plus years. Seen plenty of moments in real life. Who can forget the desert of Duel in the Desert 2014, Hamilton-Rosberg fight, the Mercedes Silver Arrows rivalry heating up. Or how Sergio Perez won from 18th when he dropped to 18th and then got back to first at the end of the Sakir Grand Prix, which was on the shortened layout, but still. I mean, what else? How about the Max Verstappen Lewis Hamilton 2021 race, which had a somewhat controversial ending of Max Verstappen having to relinquish the position to Hamilton, despite Hamilton cutting that turn 4 exit so many times. But you know, FIA being FIA, that's at this point that's just history. Nothing we can do about it. But in terms of Neo Racing League, we had it in Season 2, which was won by Mr. Rainton, aka AMG B44, who in the Aston Martin, I believe, who didn't initially win it. Our Season 2 champion Morcom was the winner of that race initially, but then he got a 20-second penalty for causing a collision with multiple drivers, where during the safety car reset he had a pileup of cars colliding and having half of the grid pit for the new front wing, essentially. And Morcom was deemed at fault for that, based on the fact that he was the leading car of that pack. Or like in Season 3, where we had a sprint where Jay had a sprint victory streak, just one shy of Morcom's 5, I think it was. He got his like 3rd or 4th, I believe, sprint race win in a row. I don't think it's 3rd, yeah, because he won in Abu Dhabi sprint last season as well. But yeah, Season 3 saw JEPS extend his sprint victory streak to 3 races, which later became 4. And then was broken in Season 4 by a certain driver named Shootviz, who won the sprint and won the Grand Prix on the last lap during the safety car restart, late safety car restart, ahead of current championship leader Speed Queen, who might be relegated down from that position by either Alex Carrigoat or Formula Leon. But yeah, I'm trying to understand. Sluiskern, I believe, is on his flying lap. First flying lap of Q3. Behind him, Hamflap Kelly, who's using his slipstream apparently. But there you go, 29.6 from Sluiskern. Hamflap Kelly with 28.7. And Alfred, 27.2. I mean, this guy's just unreal in qualifying. Perhaps the strongest qualifying driver I have seen in this league, by far. I mean, Morcom had very strong qualifying performances, but I mean, JPS had a strong qualifying performance as well, but not like Alfred is showing at this moment. We had Healer setting a 31.2. So put himself in the 6th position. Funny Weipan got to 4th position, just shy. Just 600, it's about 600 shy of Hamplop Kelly's time. And Formula Leon was the another driver who set a 127. Lap time 1:27.831 to be specific. What about Gary Gator, who is about to finish his lap and currently could set a 27.826, 5 thousandths ahead of Formula Leon, so there you go. RP driver in the provisional front row for the Bahrain Grand Prix. But let's switch to Alex Carrigout, who is eyeing that championship lead. I believe I don't think he had it. He was close to it when Speed Queen was around, but he was within the range of taking it every time she and him were fighting on the track each race. But yeah, right now cards are in favor of both Leon and Alex to perform right now to get the maximum points possible for this race. But yeah, Alex Skellergoat in the Ferrari with the number 13 car. Is this unlucky number wait. Is this unlucky number in Italy? I'm not sure, but yeah. Currently he's having a bunch of luck right now as he set a purple second sector, allegedly. Just has to navigate through the corner in the exit, and he does well through that section. Therefore putting himself into contention to put himself in the provisional front row ahead of Gary Gator with 1:27.737. Very nice indeed from Alex Carrigoat to put himself in such position. J Hydronics invalidated, I believe, on his attempt. Just in the first few corners. He managed to do so with Pastor Zeus yet to come out to pits. So I assume he's saving the tire set or just wants to do one flying lap instead. Or just forgot to invite him. that's the other thing. I apologize to Pastor Zeus. Heard rumors that Alex will get the pole. Interesting rumor, Vakuli. But you know, it is what it is. Although to be fair, he might actually get it. That is granted if Alfred doesn't mess up on his next attempt, if he is gonna have one. If he's gonna pull a Sebastian Vettel from Singapore 2013, where he only needed one lap to set a pole time, and then just the final laps he sat in the garage to watch others try to beat it, and nobody did, and there you go. That day he was the pole position man. In the midst of his 9-race winning streak in 2013, which was the end of the V8 engine era. Which switched to current engines, which are V6 hybrid turbo. Let's see, Jai Hydronics is on this bush lap right now, as we speak. Does seems to struggle through 2 in turn 4, that's for sure. 28.4 through the first sector by the American. Just has to get the hairpin done, somewhat optimal through the apex. Yep, take the curb on the exit there as well for the optimal, I guess, lap time improvement. So yeah, through the sharp left-hander now, just has to navigate. It turns 10 and then 11 and 12. Manages to keep it together through there. 106.2. Going through the second to last corner. Okay, so far from J Hydronics. Just has the last corner to navigate. How will he do through that section? He did have a backhand slide last time. Did have a little bit of a less correction than last time, but still. J Hydronics across the line. V5 128.475 from the Ferrari. Second and fifth place for the Ferrari drivers, who are a very strong pair-up. in comparison to like it was in the beginning of the season, which we had Constant Soda and Marcel, which didn't pan out as Marcel never raced. And Constant Soda is on his quest to snatch Hamflop Kelly's record of most DNFs ever, which Hamflop Kelly has 14 and Constant Soda has at least 11. Not sure the exact count, but yeah. These two drivers have been a bit of a rivalry, if you want to put it that way. So there's that. Okay, so 2 minutes left in the qualifying 3 session. We do have all but 2 drivers on their outlaps at the moment. Alex Carrigoat and Hamflop Kelly yet to come out of the pits. And with the time remaining, it could be... Actually, no, Carrigoat got out of the pits, so it's okay. How about Kelly? Actually, what happened to Kelly? Not sure, but yeah, still in the pits then, with the RB reserve driver. Yeah, at the moment I think the push lap are Gary and Sluiskarn. Gary's about to finish this. He has a slipstream from, I believe, what, the Saubers? Or is it Mercedes? It's best Zeus, right? But anyway, Gary gets just missed out by a 10 to Alfred there, even with the slipstream to Passive Zeus. Yeah, Passive Zeus is ahead of him, so there you have it. Pretty much that's it for Gary in this qualifying. That's the best he can do, 27.381, which will put him in the provisional front row, but there are still people on the push laps. Alfred currently improving by about half a tenth through the first sector, but invalidates on the exit of 6, and therefore his attempt has been nullified. Right, Sluiskarn's in the pits, okay, 10 seconds left in the session. Alex Carrigoat just crossed the line by 12 seconds left, I think. Even a bit earlier. But yeah, Sluiskarn's in the pits, qualifying is over. Let's see who is Alfred invalidated. Passive Zeus is flying lap then. See what lap time he can do after me being doing a poor job as the lobby host and not inviting him earlier. Going through the final corner now. That's a bit of a braver approach through on the entry, but that's okay. Passive Zeus across the line will put himself in P8 ahead of the Red Bull and the healer. Speaking of Gary Gators in the pits, so it's the healer now who's across the finish line. Improved by half a second and a half, but doesn't improve enough from his position. Formula Leon gets the 3rd place ahead of Alex Carrigoat, who is improving by 10th and a half through the 2nd sector, but that's not enough to challenge either Gary or Alfred. But he could jump ahead of Formula Leon at this rate. He needs a mega 3rd sector now. The Italian driver in the Ferrari. What lap time is he going to set? 27.342. So he manages to beat Gary Gates, but just misses out by about 700s to Alfred, who takes his 5th pole position of the season. And Alfred is just being incredible performer in the qualifying. Wow. But there you go, Alfred and Alex sharing the front row, Gary Gates and Formula Leon in the 2nd row, Funny Vape Band and Jai Hydronics 3rd row, Hamflop Kelly and Passive Zeus the 4th row, Sluiskarn and the Healer, the Scandinavian 5th row for this race. But yeah, the Grand Prix is just about to be underway. I've given drivers the command to start at 12 minutes. So hopefully they will follow this command. But yeah, Alfred 5th pole position. I mean, since JPS probably I haven't seen so much dominance in that qualifying, which is kind of telling. But you know, it is what it is. Yeah, incredible job by Alfred. Alex as well, 2nd place, best he could have done really. If he just missed out by 700 as well. Gary had a very strong qualifying as well in the P3. You know, that's what we like to see in the Racing League. You know, maybe it isn't esports levels of tight, but you know, we do have when it's tight and in the front, it's always a pleasure to watch, whether in qualifying or in the race. So there's that. As Sluiskarns is wishing everyone good luck and have fun, as we certainly do as well from the commentator's booth here, or just me. I'm just the only one in the comms booth, so it is what it is. Yeah, make sure to follow our YouTube, follow our Twitch, Neo Racing League. You can always search it up to not miss out on any future races that will come in the next couple of weeks, which will be starting off with next week, which is going to be Miami for the first time in this league's history. We're going to have a race in Miami for the United States Grand Prix, which will have a sprint format as well. Then it will be a mystery Grand Prix, which we will not reveal until the session starts. And then it's, I believe, Austria after that. Either Austria or Hungary. But yeah. Formation lap on the way for this Grand Prix. And strategy-wise, very mixed. Half of the grid chosen to be on the soft tires as their starting tire. With 4 drivers of that being Formula Leon, Funny Waveband, Hamflap Kelly, and Extreme Enigma, who are starting on mediums, and Alex Carrigot and J Hydronics, both Ferraris, are choosing to start on the hard compound of tire. So, yeah. As far as I know, Bahrain, it is possible to do a one-stop-ish if you are on the right type of strategy and you have tire management levels of Checo Perez. But yeah, one stop is a risky possibility. I assume 2-stop is a safe option, but we'll see over the course of these 28 or 29 laps of this Grand Prix how the drivers are gonna stack up against one another. Boy, did I miss this, watching commentating over these drivers when they were back in where we had only 8 people each race. But yeah, good to be back in comms booth for the first time since season 3. And nobody complained about my audio, which is good, so that's fine. But there you go, drivers stacking up on their grid spots. Carrigot is positioned himself quite aggressively towards Alfred, but we'll see how it's going to unfold though. Carrigot certainly missed their marks, I believe, so there you go. But yeah, there you go. 3, 4, 5 lights. I missed saying this. And the wheels are spinning in Sakir. Good start from Alfred. Good start from Alex Carrigot. Not so good in comparison to Alfred, but watch out for Gary Gaitser and Leon. 3 wide going through the first quarter. There's been a dive bomb by Healer, which
involves multiple cars hitting each other, and there's been front wing damage to at least 2 or 3 cars there. But Alfred is in the lead, ahead of Gary now, and Formula Leon. Alex Carrigo dropped to 4th place. J Hydronics ahead behind him. We have a front wing end plate coming off from Formula Leon, who collided with Gary right there. And for Leon is now missing front wing end plate on the left-hand side, which will compromise him through the right-hand corners. And yeah, Alfred comfortably now by 1.2 seconds ahead of Gary Gator, ahead of Leon, who's now dropping out of DRS range. Carrigo, Hydronics in 5th, Hamflap Kelly, Waveband, Sluiceguard, Extreme Enigma, Blown Smokers, the Healer, and the Passive Zeus, who dropped down to 12th position, who is trying to attack the Healer, heading into turn 10. Doesn't have enough traction or braking power to try and get ahead, but they're still fighting side by side almost through the turns 12 and 13. Healer does have damage on his car in comparison to Zeus, so Zeus might have damage as well. No, he seems to be okay on the front wing. But yeah, these two are fighting to not be last at this point of the race. Switchback by Zeus there on Healer. They're going side by side through the start-finish straight as we commence on lap 2. And Gary is now 2 seconds ahead of Leon. Leon is struggling massively to catch up with likes of Gary and Alfred, which will allow Alex Carrigo to get ahead of him heading into turn 4. And Alex will take that position away from Leon. We had a yellow flag for a brief moment. I believe it was for Healer, who dropped down now 3 seconds behind Passive Zeus, so there must have been a contact between the two. Which means, yeah. Also, Gary Gator had a penalty, which is a 3-second time penalty for track limit, so that's the first time we got the penalty. Formula Leon has spun round at the exit of 9 and dropped to 9th position behind his teammate of Extreme Enigma, who takes yet another position. 4 positions gained by the Italian driver in the Alpine. So far so good. Opening stint from the Enigma so far, as Alfred is just now pulling away 2.3 seconds to the RB there. I believe J Hydronics had a bit of a problem as well. Maybe Hydronics and Leon had a collision, therefore they are lower than they were previously. But yeah, Hamflap Kelly now in 4th, with Funny Waveband in 5th, who is about to attack him in the start-finish track. Kelly defending his... Jesus Christ. Verstappen level is defending on Funny Waveband, but that's not enough. But Kelly attacks him, hitting into the first corner, pushes him off the track there. Bit of a, dirty driving going on between the two, which will allow J Hydronics to get ahead of the McLaren to take that 5th position and stay behind Hamflap Kelly for the foreseeable time. But it goes very wide on the exit there. Manages to keep position from the McLaren. As we have Enigma and Healer heading into the pits. Healer with the change of the front wing, and Extreme Enigma as well with the switch to the hard tire, and also I assume front wing. As Passive Zeus and Blown Smokers are currently swapping positions, with Zeus getting ahead of the Aston Martin. But yeah, right now the DRS train starts with Hamflap Kelly, sort of, with J Hydronics, Fun Waveband, Sluiceguard, and Formula Leon being in that DRS train right now. Not gonna be helpful for those guys who are behind Hamflap Kelly regarding their tires. Considering the effect of the dirty air has been implemented in this game, which is definitely can make races interesting in terms of strategy. So we'll see what happens over the course of the next few laps, obviously. Yeah, J Hydronics missed out on DRS on Hamflap Kelly, which will allow Funny Waveband to retake that 5th place from the Ferrari, and will allow Formula Leon now to fight with Sluiceguard, who's going to try and attack back on the Alpine, but seems like Leon still has the position to himself, as they both did DRS, obviously, as they're in the DRS train. Funny Waveband was close to Hamflap Kelly, but not close enough to attempt to move on him. Yeah, Kelly right now is on the pretty good position right now, despite having the front wing damage on the right side end plate. Yeah, good luck having turn 9 getting done nicely. But yeah, pretty much now it's Kelly and Waveband separated, and Hydronics with Leon and Sluiskarn fighting for 6th position right now. So there's that. Funny Waveband did look for the inside move potentially, but Kelly wouldn't yield. But he did get the 3-second time penalty, Funny Waveband, which will compromise his race a bit. Extreme Enigma also gets 3-second time penalty for multiple track limit of warnings. Doesn't affect this position. It will not affect this position though. But look at Funny Waveband, who gets past Half-Mom Kelly just before the final corner. Or Half-Mom Kelly could be playing mind games with Funny Waveband to get the DRS potentially. Yeah, he does get the DRS on the McLaren as he heads to the first turn. Will he make a move on him? He does have an inside line, but McLaren will try to fight it. Heading side by side through turn 3, and Kelly slingshots off Waveband to take back that 4th place. We have also Formula Leon J. Hydronics fighting for the 6th place after having a collision in lap 2 at turn 9, which might or might not be industry reserve, who knows. But Formula Leon with front wing damage, he gets ahead of the Ferrari, who's struggling a little bit at this stage to keep up with the others. But there you go. Sluiskarn has dropped out of DRS train right there, so we have a 4-car DRS train starting from 4th place with Half-Mom Kelly, Waveband, Leon and Hydronics now. Regarding the leaders, Alfred, to be fair with him and Gary, they stayed in about 2.5 second gap. Although it doesn't help that Gary has a 3-second time penalty, but anyway. And Alex Kellergoat has kept it honest as well, with 1.6 second gap to the P2, a man in DRB. But let's switch back to the fight between Waveband and Kelly. Side by side getting into turn 1. Will it be switchback attempt from Waveband on the outside? Can he pull it out on the inside now? Still side by side heading through turn 3, now heading to turn 4 with Kelly and Waveband not having DRS. At least the game doesn't show it. But Kelly remains in P4 still, with Waveband being growing more frustrated behind the RB reserve driver as we speak. But yeah, but Formula Leon's in a good position in case these two happen to have a contact again. Yeah, Leon just waiting his time at this point, I would assume, or trying to look for a good overtaking opportunity. Maybe to turn 10. Not close enough to make that happen. But yeah, Lone Smoke goes with a 3-second time penalty, currently sitting in P10. Doesn't affect his position though, as it stands. Alex Carrigout is within the DRS range of Gary, so that could be an indicator that the soft tires are starting to wear out on the RB driver's car. Half-Mom Kelly in front of Waveband yet again. Yet another mind games with DRS, potentially. But look at this, 3 wide going through the first corner. Formula Leon gets ahead of both of them into turn 1, but Kelly is not going to give it up just yet. He has the inside line, which will switch to outside in turn 3, but still gets ahead, leaving Leon and Waveband to deal for themselves. But the question is, who's going to get ahead of turn 4? Still Half-Mom Kelly. Leon thought about getting a move done through there, but Waveband, look at Waveband on the inside, capitalizing on Leon's failed attempt. As Smoko says it's a pit, he has a 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, which will not help his race. I'm not sure he's gonna serve it in this pit stop, but yeah, on the future pit stop he might have to sit this 10 seconds out. But yeah, soft tires seem to be done on some people's cars, hence why Smokos has switched to new set of softs. Interesting. So he's going aggressive. 3-stop essentially. But yeah, anyway. Regarding Alex and Gary, Gary is 6 tenths clear, about 7 tenths clear of Alex. Will there be any shenanigans between Happy Kelly and Funny Way? But not this occasion. I want to see how Alex does with Gary first. As Gary defends the inside line, which Alex will try and convert by having a better traction out of turns 2 and 3. He will still have a DRS. Gary switches to the inside to defend. Alex escapes into the racing line, and unfortunately for Gary, DRS power has been too much for him to handle, which allows Alex to retake 2nd place. Handful of Kelly and Funny Wave Band yet again swapping positions into turn 4, with RP and McLaren still being on each other's, sitting on each other's nerves still, with Leon and Hydronics looking for the right opportunity to pounce. Yeah, pretty much you can see now Gary Gators' tires might be just cooked at this stage. It's now over a second, just over a second to Alex, whose tires are still relatively performative underneath him. Such is the possible capability of the hard tire around here. Alfred does seem to be doing well in comparison to Gary on that soft tire, but he's gonna switch to pits to the new tires now, Alfred. So that's interesting. So Alex is gonna stay out, obviously, and Gary stays out as well, which is an interesting call. Although he's losing 2.4 seconds now to Alex. But Alfred is switching the tires now to hards, so it could be a potential one-stop from Alfred. As we saw Kelly and Leon fight for the 3rd place now. Leon was close there to try and get ahead of him, but no smoke, no cigar on this occasion. Jay Hedgehog just dropped out of that DRS train. He's currently 1.2 seconds behind the Alpine. But yeah, but doesn't stand in terms of live Drivers' Championship updates. Alex Carrigot is in a very prime position right now to take that championship lead away from Speed Queen, who is not here anymore this season. Pretty much the only fight we could watch right now is Formula Leon where you have Philip Kelly. I mean, with some shenanigans, but I'll say, you know, Philip Kelly has done a pretty good job right now. A better job than I probably would have expected it usually from him. But yeah, like I said, if he's on it, he can deliver a strong result. He just needs to do 19 more laps just like that to make that work for himself. As he's now heading to the pits alongside Formula Leon, who crosses over the pit entry line right here. Remains to be seen if it gets reported by to the stewards by one of the drivers. But yeah, Leon could be in danger right here if something doesn't go his way in that regard. But we have a double stack. We have a double stack for the RB drivers. Gary Gator has switched to hard tires now, with Hamflap Kelly now dropping behind Funny Wave Band. Switches onto another mediums? So it's medium, hard, I would assume, from Hamflap Kelly. Or medium, soft, maybe, if he just extends that stint. But yeah, that double stack didn't help Kelly whatsoever. He's now 3.3 seconds behind Funny Wave Band, whom he had quite a borderline personal fight over the first 10 laps of this race. But yeah, pretty much everybody's on their own space on track at the moment. Not much happening right now. Closest the gaps we can see is Alfred just approaching J Hydronics to get that third place away from the second place, the Ferrari driver. Well, they just need to see what the Ferraris are going to actually do. They could switch the mediums, they could switch the softs at the end. It is a very interesting thing to witness, to expect. Hydronic switches a little bit to the inside, tries to defend from Alfred, probably try and help Alex with this race as well. As Alfred still gets DRS, but J Hydronics is still not giving up just yet. Half-Lap Kelly has retired in the pits after having a 10-second speeding penalty. So that's a 15th DNF from Half-Lap Kelly now in his career in the LA Racing League, which is mind-boggling considering he was in the points position. But anyway, that's not the first time that happens. But there you go. We'll allow someone like the healer to get into the points position now. But yeah, currently Eric Skargoat is 15.2 seconds ahead of Formula Leon. I don't remember the exact average pit stop time. It could be 22 to 23 seconds, if I'm not mistaken. But you know, if we were talking about the BSC or safety car gaps, I think Alex just about covers it. As Formula Leon has now entered the pit, so he's gonna is he gonna change his front wing? That's the question, because he has damage on there. No, he's not. He's gonna carry on with the damage, so he's gonna switch to hard tires now on his Alpine. We'll rejoin behind Funny Wave Band, and Sluskarn is too far away for reach Leon, who rejoins the 6th position, 3.6 seconds ahead of Sluskarn, who's on soft tires, so he's I assume he's on a 2-stop as well. Actually, Leon might be on a 1-stop, to be honest, if you look at it that way, as it stands. So there's that. Alright, Passive Zeus is doing well for himself in P8 at the moment. Just about to catch Sluskarn. He's a second and a half down though. Not exactly within the DRS range, but he's getting there slowly but surely. With no threat from behind him as Extreme Enigma has 50.7 second gap behind him. But yeah, we'll just need to see how these two drivers have gonna handle themselves once they actually manage to reach right on one another. But yeah, solid job so far from these two drivers for sure, who are seemingly on a 2-stop at the moment. So Zeus is gonna get DRS off of this corner. It's to be seen. Can we see it flowing open? Yes, it does. So there you go, Passive Zeus. Bit of a scrappier exit than Sluskarn had, but still manages to. With the help of DRS, he will be able to gain some sense still, in comparison to Red Bull ahead of him. Which Red Bull are currently the lead of the team's championship right now, despite now having one driver, because Kevin Cal, quote-unquote, unceremoniously departed the league, leaving the Swedish driver as the sole of Red Bull for now, to try and keep that team championship position for the foreseeable future. But so far he's doing a decent job. He is currently in the position to score 5 points on his tally for this one. As we see Zeus, passive Zeus, getting closer and closer to that Red Bull. Corner by corner, he's getting closer. He's now about half a second now. And at this rate, he could potentially strike the attack. If not in the start-finish straight, then in turn 4. For certain, as the healer has picked up a 3-second set penalty, which will not affect his position, because Blonde Smokers has plenty of penalties on his tally as well. At least 3 seconds for track limits, and actually we have 10 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. But yeah, so we're watching Zeus at the moment. He was close to Sluiskarn, but not close enough for an actual overtake through into turn 1. Now the opportunity is in turn 4 for him to attack. And he's now nowhere close to getting there. Switching to Gary Gator, who is getting closer to J Hydronics, who's like Alex, trying to work a longer first stint to potentially go flat out in the second one, whether it's on medium or it's on some, that remains to be the question. As Gary is trying to find whatever speed he can find from the second to last corner to try and get closer to J Hydronics now, who is trying to keep that podium position now. As with a yellow flag for passive Zeus, who just lost out a couple of seconds to Sluiskarn, which will put him further down in 8th. But yeah, we could see Gary Gator easily getting past J Hydronics now, who is on pretty much forward hard tires in comparison to Gary's current 5-lap old hards. Hydronics will have DRS though, but fortunately will not have the grip or the speed to try and rival Gary Gator. So yeah, Gary Gator's pretty much in the mission to try and get to Alex before he makes his pit stop. Try to get within the pit window of Alex, so there's that. Alfred does seem to be chomping off a bit by bit on Alex. He's currently 12.9 seconds. He was 14.1 last time I checked. Last lap. So he's taken about just about more than a second from the Ferrari ahead of him. Which what he needs to do at this point if he wants to keep his lead of the race. Excuse me. But yeah. Picking up Blown Smokos to slide there through out of exit of 6. Well, managed to keep that one though, so it's okay so far for the Aston Martin driver, although lost a couple of tenths as a result of that. Yeah, not much going on right now, apart from Passive Zeus going into pits now to make his second stop of this race. Essentially trying and undercut Sluiskarn as well. What's he's gonna do? He's gonna switch to another soft tires, okay. I need to check the race director, sorry. It's his 3rd stint on the soft tires. So it's a 3-stop essentially for Passive Zeus now. To try and gain whatever positions he can now on this stint. I mean, that's an interesting strategy. I'm not gonna judge his choices, but it's an interesting strategy. Not something I would usually go for. But yeah, at the moment, Formula Leon, he's 3.5 seconds behind Funny Wave Band. I think he's marginally getting to him. but only marginally, from what I can understand. Alfred has a 3-second time penalty for track limits, which will not be exactly helpful in case something happens to him, but you know, at the moment he does have a net lead anyway over Gary, who's just 14 seconds behind. Sluiskarn goes into the pits to answer to the undercut attempt from passive Zeus, and he's gonna switch to the hard compound tires. So basically that's a 2-stop guaranteed for now for Sluiskarn. Let's see how Extreme Enigma is gonna fare against him. Joe gets ahead of him, and passive Zeus gets ahead of him as well. So there you go. Zeus, at the moment, just about is ahead of Sluiskarn. The problem is he needs to have one more stop, as he's now gonna try and get past Extreme Enigma on the inside to take 7th place from the Alpine driver, who is pretty much on his own at this moment, after suffering that throwing damage at the start of the Grand Prix. But yeah, right now the cards are in favor of Sluiskarn as we speak. Smokers is just into the pits to switch to mediums now. Mediums could last about 11 to 12 laps. We've seen that with Formula Leon, how he was able to get that stint through. J Hydronics in the pits, so this is the first Ferrari we've seen in the pits now, and he will switch to mediums as well as the change of the front wing. That will take place. So we have a yellow flag in the 3rd sector. That's for who? That's for Extreme Enigma, I assume, or Sluiskarn. One of them two. I assume it's Enigma because Sluiskarn was behind him. Yeah, they must have had a collision of some sort. But J Hydronics rejoins in 6th place now with the new medium. Passive Zeus with the fastest lap of this session so far on lap 18. But interesting to see how J Hydronics is going to perform now. Is he going to be by himself, or he will be eventually able to catch up to someone? Although 22.6 seconds is a big gap, which, you know, isn't ideal. As Alex Garrigo's now gone into the pit, so he's had enough of his hard tires. Held that lead as long as he could, but unfortunately just couldn't keep up as much, as we also see Extreme Enigma go into the pits for mediums. So essentially been lapped now, Extreme Enigma, as well as Blunt Smokos. But there you go. Alex Garrigo rejoins ahead of Gary Gator, crucially, as well. That was an important one for the Ferrari driver. To be fair, he does have Gary Gator having 3-second time penalty in his favor, which will help him. Granted, he doesn't have 3 seconds himself, but right now Alex is in a good position to keep that P2 at the moment. Who knows, maybe even try and get that catch up to Alfred if something goes wrong with the Sauber driver, who has been so far pretty much flawless from start to lap 19 now. But yeah, McGarry could be just kicking himself right now, because there was an opportunity to get there, but he just wasn't close enough to try and get there. But the update on Formula Leon's just 3 seconds, within 3 seconds of funding waypoint actually. Actually I need to check the penalties, so everybody has 3 seconds at the moment on their disposal, all 7 drivers. That is Alfred, Gary, Funding Waypoint, Sluiskarn, who gets now 6 seconds. Pardon me. The Healer 5, Extreme Enigma, and Blunt Smokos with 3 seconds of penalties each. But currently Formula Leon is in 4th position after the penalties get applied. But I would assume he would like to get that on track more than on try and stay behind him on the penalty and try and get it on penalties. So there's that. But yeah, pretty much drivers are pretty much on their own at the moment. They've done their job. J Hydronics the fastest lap of this race. Extreme Enigma with 3 seconds of penalty, which will keep him still in that 7th position, but if he's not careful, if Blonde Smokers doesn't have any more 3-second penalties, that final points position could be jeopardized in that moment. But yeah, Leon is definitely trying to catch up to Funny Wayben at the moment. In comparison to Alex, he's at the moment 17-ish seconds behind him, which is absolutely not ideal if it comes to potentially getting that a championship lead from now departed Speed Queen. Okay, I was just seeing Alfred go into the pits for a 2-stop. I was pretty sure he was gonna try and do 1-stop, but no, it's 2-stop from Alfred. So Alfred is pretty much gonna try and challenge himself to try and get back to that lead with the new softs on his disposal, which is very interesting. It does add up a bit of a spice to this race, I'll give him credit, but in terms of you know, risks, it is a risk. He just needs to have the pace to back it. And not that I doubt his pace, but there's always a chance of getting a couple more warnings under his name to get potentially another 3-second time penalty. We'll see. But yeah, he's much quicker than Gary Gates, so already on that outlap on those softs. So yeah, we'll see how Alfred gets on with Gary heading through the DRS start-finish straight. Just gets within the DRS range just before the final corner. Will he get DRS on this occasion? Yes, he does. So there you go. Alfred is on the attack now for that 2nd place on track against Gary Gator. I mean, yeah, you can already see out of turn 1, Gary was sliding, trying to apply the throttle. And now Gary's going to try and defend that position from Alfred, who's going to dive late on the outside, heading into turn 4. Carefully, guys. Yep, exactly. Taking caution through that exit there as they go side by side through turn 5 and turn 6. Still, these two drivers are fighting. Now heading through turn 7 hairpin. Still side by side, but now Gary has to eventually concede on the exit, and Alfred has now one more driver on his front view, which is not the healer, who is a lapped car, but it is Alex Garrigoat, who is looking for his yet another win in this league. He did win in Azerbaijan. He did have a podium in Canada last I checked. But that's the last time he's got on the podium. He did have a DNF in Zandvoort last week. But the question is, will there be enough laps and enough tire performance for Alfred to catch up? Because it's 8.2 seconds now. And Alex is on for relatively fresh mediums. And Alfred is on the softer compound tire. Could we see Alex Garrigold win this race? Granted, if Alfred... I mean, Alfred will certainly try to catch up to him. No question. It's just... is Alfred's pure pace enough to catch up to Alex Garrigout eventually. As we see now Healer trying to let his teammate through now. Currently P9, but has to take a 3-second time penalty for track limits. Has a 9-second gap to Extreme Enigma, so he should be okay in that regard. So yeah, there's pretty much that. Formula Leon is still within those 3 seconds of Funny Wave Band, but just dropped down by about 4 tenths last time I checked. He does have a lap car ahead of him to be compared to him. Of blown Smokos, who would need to let him through at some point. Possibly in the start-finish straight. Does cost a bit of time to Formula Leon. Does give him the rest though. And 2.6 seconds now between Wave Band and Formula Leon, so we need to watch out for that for the remaining 5 or so laps. As currently Alfred is 6.4 seconds shy of Alex Garrigout, who has just exited turn 9. Extreme Enigma with another 3-second time penalty. And Passive Zeus with 3 seconds as well. Smokers has 6, so I thought he had 3, but now he has 6, so Extreme Enigma is safe now in terms of keeping that position, which could be crucial for Alpine in the team championship, especially if they have selects of Sauber and also Ferrari potentially trying to get ahead of them. And with Red Bull of Sluiskarn trying to carry that heavy weight of Red Bull being in the team championship lead, trying to keep that as long as possible, let's say. But yeah. But at the moment we have on lap 25, and it looks like Alfred has gained about 4 tenths in this lap in comparison to Alex, which makes me question whether Alfred will have enough in him to catch up to Alex by the end of lap 29. So yeah. Also shout out to both Ferraris and Formula Leon to not have any track limit penalties whatsoever at their disposal. So there's that. Right. So what do we have in terms of fastest laps? Alex Garrigout owns the fastest lap, 30.778. The closest one to him is Alfred with 31.0, flat, exactly flat from the Sauber driver from Denmark. The leading Sauber. Both of them are Danish. And then it's Passive Zeus, and then it's J Hydronics. The slowest lap time, fastest lap is to the Healer 5, who has 34.2. at the moment. Penalty wise, we see 3 seconds for Alfred, Gary, and Funny Wave Band, 6 seconds for Sluiskarn, 3 for Passive Zeus, 6 for Healer, 9 for Extreme Enigma, and Blown Smokers with 6 on his disposal. In pit stop wise, we have 1 stop for Alex, Gary, Funny Wave Band, Leon, and Hydronics. Alfred had a 2 stop, as well as Sluiskarn, Healer, Enigma, and Smokers, and Passive Zeus was the only one who did a 3 stop in this race. And position change wise, not much in that retrospect. Alex Garrigout got ahead of Alfred. Funny Wave Band is ahead of Leon. Sluiskarn gained 2 places. Healer got 1 and Extreme Enigma got 2. Fab Kali, the only driver who DNF'd from this race. So there's that. Formula Leon, 2.2 seconds now behind Funny Waveband, still within those 3 seconds that he desperately needs. In case he's not able to attack Funny Waveband on track. He has now his teammate Extreme Enigma ahead of him, trying to try and get cleared. To try and clear ahead of him. Essentially might wait for a DRS maybe. Maybe Enigma could help him with his DRS. To help give Leon DRS I should say. So there's that. But Alfred, it's somewhat evened out their current lap times. Alfred has improved by about 2/10 now at the stage. Which could tell me that these softs are pretty much been through their best days at the stage. Victory is not guaranteed, of course, but at the moment Alex Carrigot looks comfortably in the driver's seat. As we see J Hydronics hit for the soft tires, that's the fastest lap attempt from the second placed Ferrari there of J Hydronics to try and score extra point for his team and for himself to potentially jump likes of ERT Optic, I believe, who also has departed during that mid-season break that we had 2 weeks ago. So yeah, just ahead of Sluskar in 2 seconds. So yeah, Hydronics is gonna have a pretty much clean air up to himself to try and beat his teammate's current fastest lap. But yeah, penultimate lap of the race, as we have Alfred now trying to abuse track limits to a degree to try and get some sort of a gap narrow in comparison to Alex, who has definitely been holding his own against them at the moment. As Formula Leon's now under 2 seconds with an extreme, it's actually an extreme Enigma is behind him. So I thought it was still Enigma ahead of Leon to try and give him DRS. So there's that, and yeah, Leon actually is catching quite quickly now to Funny Waveband, whose tires might have been shot now at the stage. Leon's just gonna bounce at the stage then. I think he's saved enough batch free. Tires are still, I mean, they seem to be somewhat short as well, but they are 3 laps younger than Waveband, so we'll see what happens. One thing's for sure, Leon's gonna get that DRS, as we have a final lap underway now for this race, as Alex Carrigot leads us through turns 3 and now 4. But let's switch back to Formula Leon and Funny Waveband, who are about to have a fight. Leon with DRS, Waveband is saving the battery as much as he possibly can to try and defend from the Austrian contact on the rear of Waveband. But Waveband keeps the position. Leon backs out just a little bit. We'll have another attempt at the attack on the inside of turn 4. Can he make it work? Yes, he can. But Funny Waveband with the switchback. Bit of a mistake there from Leon on the exit. But Leon manages to keep that place from Funny Waveband. J Hydronics with the fastest lap, 130.4. Will get extra point for himself in the G Drivers' Championship. So there's pretty much that. As we're now gonna switch to the Italian driver on his second race for the Ferrari. For the first time since Azerbaijan. Alex Karugod wins the Neo Racing League Division Alpha race. He wins the Bahrain Grand Prix in convincing fashion, with Alfred finishing in second. Pace-wise, Alfred was the strongest, but you could argue that two-stop was a bit of a risk. Gary Gaitser finishing in the final podium position in third, with Formula Leon settling for the fourth position, and also to conceding the championship position to Alex Karugod, who's now the championship leader, dislodging Speed Queen as we speak. Funny Wave Bandit finishing P5, strong performance from the McLaren. Will help with jumping both Mercedes and Aston Martin to put themselves in the 6th place in the championship, I think. Yeah, actually 7th now, because Ferrari had a lot of points. Yeah, from terms of lap cars, Healer in the P9, 2 points for Sauber, extra 2 points for himself. Extreme Enigma with a point finish. Last points. Final point finish for the Alpine in his return. J Hydronics finishing in 6th with Sluiskarn in 7th, and actually Spassive Zeus in 7th and Sluiskarn in 8th position. So there's that, the Bahrain Grand Prix with Alex Karugod clearly grabbing the phone from his mechanics and celebrating this victory, not just in this race but in the championship so far, dislodging likes of Speed Queen and Leon now behind them. There you go. Alex Karugod, Alfred, Gary, your top 3. With race winner, obviously. You know who it is. Fastest lap to J Hydronics. Driver to drive and most overtakes to Extreme Enigma. Surprised there was no cleanest driver aboard, but anyway. But there you go. Ferrari, Tifosi, Italy, happy with Alex Karugod taking that victory for Ferrari. With Alfred in 2nd, Gary Gates in 3rd, Formula Leon settling for 4th position, Funny Wave Bandit 5th, Hydronics, Passive Zeus, Sluiskarn Healer, and Extreme Enigma the top 10. Blown Smoke was missing out on that points position, and Hamfall Kelly was the only casualty of this race. The only driver to not score a fair race finish. So there you go. I would like to try and get Alex for an interview if I can. If I can get him to do that. I can't unfortunately see the Twitch chat as I have my phone battery turned off. But yeah. I just feel right, make sure if I get Alex on for the internet to make sure my party audio needs to be on. Just to hear his thoughts on this. Just waiting for him to respond to the stage. Okay. So he's agreed to an interview, so let's just drop in an invite to the party. I'll just wait for him to join. does seem like hello, Alex. Wow, just incredible race, incredible win. Maybe maybe not an expected one, considering Alfred had seemingly stronger pace on paper. But you know, you take what you take. The win's a win. But before I touched on the race, I want to talk about qualifying. How close was that between you and Alfred there? A couple of hunches there. Where do you think it went wrong for you there on that flying lap?
Yeah, I usually like to say in quali, especially with just my sort of quality, like there's always just going to be a mistake or two in there. And I did have a couple, but I felt like overall it was a good lap. So that's really all I have to say about quality. Is I put in a really solid lap, and I felt like he probably could have put more in.
Yeah, definitely. He did have a final flying attempt invalidated, so that could have been a chance there.
Yeah.
But you know, switching to race now. I mean, you had a bit of a chaotic start as far as I understand. You lost like 2 places or 2 to Gary and I believe Leon.
Yep. I
how was
forget
that start for
exactly
you?
how it went, but yeah, it was okay. I just I haven't done enough practice with starts or anything. I haven't done any practice with starts. My only practice is actual league races, which I do a lot of anyways, but I really don't do much practice with starts or like open lobbies. I don't do much of any, so you know, usually you'll get good practice with starts if you do a bunch of 5-lapters, but I really don't. So it's probably one of my weaker areas of my game, but I felt like it was okay. Just the hards kind of wound up bogging me down and spinning out in second gear still when I really don't want to. And then battling with Leon, I forget whether he got the position over me right away or not, but I think we were respectful enough and there was some contact from behind from my teammate and we all just made it through alive, and some people backed out of stuff, and I think it wound up shuffling me up to P3, even though Leon had the pace, and I think he was ahead of me going into turn 1.
Yeah, I think so. But you know, you and J Hydronics, obviously you chose to do a hard stint first, obviously.
Yep. That's
So
usually
was that
choice.
strategy going all along, or was this something you discussed with each other beforehand?
No, I didn't know he was gonna go hard, so we don't usually talk much, except when we're hanging out with another guy, basically in his server. So essentially, no, we didn't have much conversation about it. It was just a whim decision, sort of. I don't really do much prep, so I didn't. I'm assuming Alfred didn't either, so he didn't know whether he could do the one stop and decided to just play it safe. I decided to play it risky, and it worked out.
Yeah, I thought so too. That Alfred would do a one stop there, but how surprised were you when he switched to a 2-stop at that point of time?
I kind of knew that if he couldn't stretch the softs, like somehow, usually they work in some tracks, like Great Britain, you can stretch the softs like 12, 13 laps, depending on the setup. Here, I haven't tested it, I have no clue. It didn't work out for him. So I knew once he pitted that there was a pretty low chance, but I had no clue. So I just trusted that he may have made the right decision at the time. I doubted myself and just kept going and decided to pit when I felt like I needed to. There was a risk of me puncturing or having to pit like with 1 or 2 laps remaining if I wasn't able to stretch that hard stint, but I tried going with the medium, but I stretched the hard stint longer than I expected to, and the mediums lasted really well. So I wound up only being at like 60%, a little under 60% wear on my worst tire at the end.
Fair enough, fair enough. But at the end, you know, it worked out for you quite well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Race win, obviously. In the Ferrari as well. How does
Yeah,
it feel
against
about-
Alfred. Alfred really does have pace, so it feels good to get a win over him. Won't get many of those, I assume, but I'm gonna keep showing up.
Exactly, exactly. Final thing, obviously, Miami next week, sprint race. How do you see yourself doing around that track? How strong do you feel around here? How comfortable?
I feel pretty comfortable. I'm excited for that. I enjoy the track generally. When it first came out, I think in 22, I wasn't a fan. But I've enjoyed it more and more as the years have gone on. and do have a good setup for it, so I'm excited for that. Where this track, I kind of struck gold. My setup was kind of just a guess, and it worked out pretty well.
Well, there you go. Well, enjoy your victory. Enjoy your.
Thanks, March.
You know, enjoy
Yeah, I
your
will.
celebrations with the Tifosi, and we'll see you next week in Miami to maybe potentially continue that happen. We'll see. But yeah, thanks very much, and hope have a good evening, mate.
Yep, appreciate it, March. See ya.
Later. All right. Yeah, there you go. That's been Alex Carrigo to you. Very ecstatic about this race victory today. Second, I believe, victory of the season for him, and the championship lead ahead of now the part of Speed Queen and Formula Leon. I don't think there are many people to interview on Xbox side of things anyway, but yeah, I think the main man who I wanted to talk to, we got to talk to him, so yeah. Yeah, thank you very much for watching this Twitch stream. We'll go back on YouTube next week, hopefully, with Jamie Jackson being back at APF Stig, hopefully. For the Miami Sprint Race and the Grand Prix, the United States Grand Prix, that is, on September the 3rd, I believe. 7:30 p.m. BST, GMT, whichever it is, UK time basically. Will Alex Carrigo keep his championship lead? Will Formula Leo do something about it? And how close Alfred will get to them, so that remains to be seen. But that has been your commentary, the Marchmeister. Once again, thank you very much for watching the stream, engaging in the stream, and yeah, we will see you next Wednesday for the start of the second half of the season and for a second sprint event of the calendar. Until then, I say to you goodbye and good night, and take care. Peace.